Welcome back to the Bay State Golf Podcast. Little different setup today. I've got a guest, Sean Toland, who will be coming up in a little bit after just a few quick housekeeping items. Got to go to Sean's house and record at his kitchen table. We talk about his new company that he started with his buddy Mike, Golf Trip Guys. They are in the process right now of rounding up folks to go on their first trip down to Hilton Head, which will be happening in April, from April 10th to the 13th. So we talk about just how the company got started, what made him and Mike jump into the golf trip world, and kind of who this trip is for. And if you are interested in joining the golf trip, you can go to golftrip-guys.com, check out all the details. We also kind of dive into the details during our conversation. Also, if you are listening to this and you have not pressed subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or on YouTube, these are all also on YouTube. Please do that if you want to watch some of these podcasts. They're always on YouTube. If I'm talking about a golf course, I mix in some videos and photos of the golf courses I'm talking about. Today, you can just watch Sean and I just chat at his kitchen table. If you want everything from me in one nice package, I do some writing, I do some video, I do some podcasting. And every Friday at the end of the week, I send out a newsletter with some different golf thoughts, news and notes, links to my videos, links to anything I've written from that week. You can find that at baystategolf.beehive.com. Beehive is BEEHIIV. The Friday newsletter is free. I also offer, if you want to support my work, a subscription as well, and that gets you access to all of my posts. I post my course reviews early on there with additional thoughts, some pictures to give context, and some other additional writing each week, so you can support my work and become a supporter or a founder. And that's kind of it for the housekeeping today. Let's get to my discussion with Sean Toland, the co-founder of Golf Trip Guys. Welcome to the Bay State Golf Podcast. I'm Sean Melia. I am in person with a guest for the first time in a very long time, trying to cobble this all together. Sean Toland, thanks for joining today.
Thanks, Sean. Very excited to be here. Thanks for making the trip down to Quincy and having the chance to do this in person. So hopefully you get some good learnings out of this one too.
Yeah, this is great. So we could have done this virtually, obviously, but we're gonna play some golf this afternoon. We're gonna go to the lovely Furnace Brook 9-holer.
That was really
street.
Exactly. To play some golf. So.
Exactly. But also kind of apropos, you and I have been working together a little bit over the last couple months with your partner, Mike, and you guys formed the Golf Trip Guys. So I'm taking a little golf trip down here to Quincy. I call it Quincy, and people get in my mentions when I have to pronounce it. But you and Mike have formed this new company trying to encourage people to go on golf trips, and you have organized your first one. So I guess the first place to start is like, what's the origin story of Golf Trip Guys? It is very new. So where did this idea come from?
Yeah. Well, first off, no, we're super excited to partner with you and also Jordan from FN3P. So we'll talk a bit more about the trip we have coming up down to Hilton Head. But yeah, I'll just go back in time a little bit. So Mike and I has been sort of my go-to golfing partner for a number of years now, at least 10 years or so. You know, everyone needs that go-to golf partner.
For sure.
So we've actually planned together a number of like our buddies trips.
Yep.
And it's absolutely, I know a lot of people say that, God, I hate the planning process.
Yeah.
But Mike and I oddly just love it. So we get super excited trying to uncover the next destination that we want to go. And then once that's locked in, getting the crew together, getting everyone excited, and then taking the time to sort of plan out the sort of structure of the trip and like how we're going to add some competition in, how the different players come in, how much golf they like. Are they like a golf sicko? Or are they kind of like, hey, I'm here for one round and I just want to, go by the pool in the afternoon, and then factoring all those things in to really create the optimal experience. So we had done that for a number of years with our friend group. So we went down to Stream Song. Mike and I went over across the pond, we did the old course in Ireland. And then last year we did Pinehurst, where some of this actually started the catalyst for the golf trip, guys. So I spent a number of years in financial services in the corporate world, and found myself at a time where I had more free time, and was really looking to do something in the golf space. And we had planned our trip last April we had 12 guys, and there was a comment from one of them on the trip. Like, I think it was like the third day or so, and came up to me, was just like, dude, this is amazing. Like, all I had to do was pay you some money and show up. And like everything was organized.
Yeah.
Like all the dinners, all the rounds, all the games, like my handicap was entered. I knew how many points I got, or how many, strokes I got on certain holes. I knew what the matches were. And like, I just had to show up, play, and then compete and have fun. And I was like, huh. And he was like, why don't you do this? And Mike and I talked about it. And, over the next few months or so, we kind of threw around some ideas, and we were like, it's a little bit of a crowded market. Like, how are we going to enter this? And I think where we ultimately landed was sort of this, bespoke in some way, but these customized type trips where we take care of everything and really focus on the experience for our guests and help them create just an awesome memory.
Yeah. What in your experience is the hardest thing to kind of get off the ground for a golf trip? You've done a bunch of them.
I think first is commitment, just from everyone.
Yep.
Because, especially at, depending on what stage in life you're at, you either have a significant other that has other vacations they may want to do, or you have families and schedules become tough with, school and those type of things. So one, I think, is commitment. And then ultimately, I think landing the destination.
Yeah.
A lot of people have ideas of where they want to go, and getting a group to agree on it, that can be a challenge. So it's actually one of the things that we pride ourselves on is we're sort of focusing in this mid-tier, up-and-coming type destination. So we're not going to be booking Pebble Beach now, but I think where we can really stand out is find some of these really cool courses that are sort of on the rise. And one, they're still affordable, and they're amazing destinations, and they start catering to groups especially. And you can set up multiple rounds. You can either stay on property, or you can go to an area and try to pick all the different courses. So those are some of the things that we sort of do a personalized consultation on, of like, what's the best fit for your group? Like, are you a group that I want to show up at a resort, I want to stay, I don't want to have to get in a car anywhere, I want everything taken care of? Awesome. There's some great destinations for that.
Yep.
Or are you like, I think you are a little bit of this too, and me and Mike sort of fall into this category sometimes, is like, we want to go explore an area, and we're willing to drive, an hour and a half around the area to just find these really cool courses and get a new course experience and, kind of under our belt. So it's like, working with our clients to figure out like, what is that optimal fit for your group. And then it's like, do you want to play 36 a day?
Yeah.
Do you want to play 18 a day?
Yeah.
Do you want an off day?
72 a day.
Well, yeah. Or I was going to say 72. Or do you want to take a day off and go hiking, or like do a pool day, whatever? Like it, it's gonna vary per group. And I think we really pride ourselves in being able to match destinations and packages to what fits the group best.
Yeah. So as you're talking, one thing is we've got this Hilton Head trip in April that you guys have planned, but it also sounds like you ultimately want to be a place for people to go who could potentially just come to you looking for like, hey, can you help us potentially plan a trip as well?
Yeah. So that's going to be one part of our business. And the Hilton Head side of things, the event we have coming up is kind of an interesting little insight that we stumbled upon. So when Mike and I were talking about this, one thing we knew we wanted to do the golf trip side of things. The other side, and Jordan from FN3P inspired us a little bit on this, is these sort of, I don't want to say casual events, but they're more casual yet competitive.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's fun. You're going. You can have a couple beers during the round.
Right.
But, you're getting those competitive juices flowing, and you're actually playing towards something. Mike and I had seen before that there's not a ton of that out there. So one of the things that we kind of came across, and just to back up, the other piece of this insight too was like, not everyone has a group of just 12 guys
Yes.
that they can call up and be like, hey, this year's golf trip is here, right? There's some groups that's like, hey, me and my buddy really want to do this, but it's only two of us. And we have some friends that are kind of into golf, but not really into golf. And I don't know if they want to commit to a full vacation of golf.
Yep.
But like me and my one friend really want to go on a golf trip.
Right.
So we met a couple people like that and they gave us that feedback and we found that fascinating. And then there's others too that's like, we have 4, but, the prices start to get a little more challenging when it's only 4.
Yep.
Right? Like you can't spread it across as much.
Yep.
So what kind of came out of that was let's combine the event space and the travel space.
Yep.
And let's do a few of these a year where someone who's only 2 or only 4 can sign up and come and play in a competitive event, but also have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And meet new people. And I think, when I look back on some of the best things I've gotten from golf is like meeting some of my best friends, Mike included, and then meeting new people. I mean, Sean, you, for example, you and Jordan, like I met you guys through golf.
Yeah.
Now, like I consider you guys friends and it's like another person in my phone that I can be like, hey, I got a free day.
Yeah.
I want to go play golf somewhere.
Yeah.
And I know like chances are I'll get a yes.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's something awesome for everyone to have. And so that's one thing that we're trying to create out of these events is not only people come down, they have fun, they have a blast, they play some awesome golf courses, they also get to meet people, network, like make some new golf friends. And hopefully, there's some lifelong friends that come out of these.
Yeah. I mean, that's the experience as someone who has a bunch of golfing friends. It is so hard to organize anything. It very rarely does the trip reach beyond like the text chain.
Yeah, it's like getting it out.
Hey, who wants to do this? Trying to get out of the text chain. And this past May, I went to Big Cedar Lodge in Missouri.
Great.
And it was great. It was very cool. And really the only reason that trip happened is because my wife booked it for my 40th birthday. So I turned 40 last September. That was the gift.
I hope there was the massage package or something out of that.
So the plan was that she was actually going to come with me and her friend and her husband, who's a golfer and a buddy of mine. The 4 of us were going to go, and then they ended up getting pregnant, and like the date was basically that week. So I then had to, she was like, go find 3 friends to go and play golf with. That's fine. And knowing like having a date already set was such a big part of it. Like I was just able to email a bunch of people, and 3 buddies said yes. It's like, all right, I got my 3 for this trip. But just having that date set was such a big part of it because people could just say, no, I can't go.
Or yes.
Or yes.
Even better. Yes, I'm in.
And they knew there was that extra part of the planning was already kind of set in stone, which is when you have your buddy, like when you have Mike, you at least already know you've got 2 guys and then you can kind of work around that, which is great. So that's always been the hardest part for me and my buddies. Like, how do we get this off the text chain? And this is one way to do it. Because you are setting dates for people. And if you can join us from April 10th to April 13th in Hilton Head, like sign up and come get a buddy, get 4
love
buddies.
To have you.
We'd love to have 6, you and 5 buddies come and play. So let's talk about the Hilton Head trip.
Let's do it.
And just give us the elevator pitch on what the week looks like. You've already talked a little bit about the idea of kind of some competitive aspect to it, but also not being crazy competitive and having guys lose their minds over the competition, but just having something kind of baked in where people are feeling like the juices are flowing and they're hitting shots that matter, but not making it too serious, which I think is where golf kind of right now is living.
Yeah, it's such an exciting space to be able to have that, competitive outlet and yet still have a blast and have fun at the venue. So yeah, Hilton Head, we're fired up about this one. So we are going to go down Masters weekend. So we'll have some Masters elements in there too. Like we'll watch parties and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's like the perfect weekend to kind of kick off the golf season because everyone's fired up. Like Masters is here, golf's returning, we're coming out of the winter. And that's the other thing about winter. The one thing I know how I get through winter is having a golf trip.
Yeah. Something to look forward to.
I'm like, I just have to make it there. And then I got like sun and golf just to look forward to. So hopefully this event provides that for some people too when they sign up, as it helps you get through winter a little bit. Well, April 10th is a Thursday, so Thursday will be arrival day. We'll gather. There's a really cool top tracer range at the RTJ Robert Trent Jones course down there. So we'll probably get some warm up in, maybe some drinks that early evening. The structure of the tournament will be basically just bring a partner.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-man team event over 54. So we'll do different formats. I think the first day, which will be Friday, we'll play the George Fazio course and the Arthur Hills course, and we'll do a 2-man best ball in the morning, and then likely a 2-man scramble in the afternoon.
Yep.
And then on Saturday, we'll play sort of the crown jewel of the resort, they call it, is the Robert Trent Jones course. And it's the one probably everyone's seen that goes out to the Atlantic, and it's got the green right over the dunes, and you see the whole ocean and that type of stuff. So it's a beautiful venue. We'll play like a 2-man net score on that one.
Yeah.
And then there will be prizes for each round, the winner of each round, and then the total tournament group. So we'll have some cool stuff there. Jordan's also putting together some polos and hats that will be included, some of the event swag, a cool logo going with it, so we'll get that on some gear, and that'll be part of everything included there. And then Sunday, fly out, travel day, and get back in time
to watch Scotty Scheffler
to watch
Green Jacket.
Yeah. But yeah, overall it should be a great event. After Saturday's round, we will look to have a reception with a buffet, and I think we can squeeze in like a comped happy hour for an hour or something like that.
Yeah, I like the 2-man scramble, and just I think sometimes those different formats, if you're just going out on a Saturday morning to play golf, like you want to play 18 holes and you want to enter a score. There's a lot of people like that. And on a trip like this, just to have the ability to do something a little bit different because you're playing enough golf that you feel like you scratch the itch of like, I'm going to play 18 holes. I know I'm going to get to keep my score, but all shots and 2-man scramble. I've never played a 2-man scramble, and it's one of those kind of formats that seems like it would be a ton of fun. Like 4 people with a scramble is typically 4 people 4-man scramble is a 2-man scramble with like the third or fourth person might just be mixing in like a little bit.
Yeah.
If the teams are made up kind of in that way, but like a 2-man scramble, alt shot, like those types of formats are also a ton of fun, and it's a good way for people to play them without feeling like they're losing a day of golf.
Totally. And we structured it that way purposely, that you'll still play your own ball basically for every shot. So 2-man scrambles, such a fun format because it brings a lot of strategy into play too.
Yeah.
You got to know your partner's game and like what they're good at. And it's like, hey, do you want to pop one out here? And then, I can drive it longer and I'll go for it. Those type of things. And it does bring a really fun kind of mix up, like you said, to a trip. And having those different formats really makes it more fun.
Yeah. Gives the body a little bit of time to recover too, right? If you're playing a bunch of golf, and you're only making half the swings at that point. All right. So we got the format that, lodging wise, like this is an all in, you're paying for everything for the trip, like you said. So you're the stuff, everything is kind of included here. Can you just a little bit about the lodging and what people are going to get when they're staying?
Yeah. So we put together a pretty cool package. So like you said, basically everything's included except for flights and a few meals. So we'll pick you up from the airport. We'll drop you back to the airport. We're looking at the Omni Oceanside down Hilton Head. So they got a bunch of pools. They have some that no kids are allowed in too. So, for the crew we'll have our own space. There's a bunch of bars. There's restaurants there. There's tons of stuff in walking distance. There's other things to do outside of golf too. I mean, we'll probably be pretty focused on golf, but for those that want that option, it's definitely there. So yeah, it'll be 3 nights there. So you and your buddy will be double occupancy right on the resort. Done via shuttle down. It's like 5-minute shuttles to each all the courses. So we're right in the middle of all those courses, and the shuttles will all be set up for you. The 36-hole day, you'll have time in between for lunch, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like a really cool venue. We're really excited about it, and I'm pumped to play. I won't get to play all 3 courses, but I'll play at least 1 or 2, and I'm pumped for it.
You mentioned Jordan too. Jordan is going to have an incredible week because he won the Masters lottery. And this is just maybe a little bit of like, if you are from the Northeast and you manage to get struck by lightning and win the Masters lottery. He's going on Wednesday and then heading to Hilton Head on Thursday. Like, you could make a bigger trip of this if you are kind of itching to play golf or itching to maybe go to the Masters for the first time and you want to go to a practice round. I've been to a practice round of the Masters. It might be, some people swear by it more than they do going on Thursday to Sunday, because you can bring a camera, you could take pictures, you have like a little bit more freedom to kind of check out the golf course. It's a little quieter. But just another, like, Jordan's having an awesome week. He's going down with, I think, 3 or 4 of his buddies. He's bringing them all to Hilton Head as of right now. And so if you're looking for like something to do or create a trip, you could also come down, stay a little longer, stay through Sunday and play some more golf Sunday, go home on Monday, and find a place to just kind of crash on Sunday night. But like, that's the other nice part about this is you're getting to a destination for 3 days, and maybe you want to make it a 5-day trip.
Yeah, and that's one thing we can absolutely help with. We can get recommendations, we can book stuff for you. So if it's something that you want to extend, and I know the only downside is I think Harbor Town's closed because they
got the event the next
weekend following the Masters.
Yeah,
which is kind of a bummer. But I think Heron Point's still open, and I mean, it's Hilton Head, so there's a million other courses down there if people want some recommendations on that, or like I said, any help with bookings.
Yeah. So that's anything else on kind of Hilton Head or golf trip guys?
No, I just say feel free. You can reach out to myself either on Instagram at golftrip-guys. You can reach out to Sean. He's got a bunch of posts up on it. Our website's www.golftrip-guys.com. Right on the homepage, there's an events link, and we're highlighting the Hilton Head trip right now. You can also follow us on Instagram, and there's plenty of links to it there as well.
So someone else has golftripguys.com.
Someone's holding it,
just sitting on it. That's like me with Bay State Golf.
Yeah.
There's a Bay State Golf Instagram account, and it's just sitting there. I think he's posted one time from Highland Links like 17 years ago.
No one's,
before Instagram was even a thing.
No one's got anything up. They're just hijacking it right now. Someday we'll have to acquire it.
I guess you don't have to be from this area to sign up. You can be we're looking for people from anywhere. You talked about Winter, but like, you don't have to be from Massachusetts or from New England. We feel like this is a good time of a trip for people up in this area. It's where we're from. It's where our network is. But like, if you're in Oklahoma and you're listening to this, come to Hilton Head.
Absolutely. I mean, the beauty, Hilton Head, we picked it specifically because the weather in April is like basically perfect for golf.
Yeah.
So it's like out of their summer heat and humidity. So it's cool. Sun's out. They don't get a lot of rainy days. We're really excited about getting out of the Northeast there, but I think there's other parts of the country too that, could benefit from some Hilton Head.
Yeah.
Hilton Head in April weather.
Yeah. So if you're in Seattle, come play golf at Hilton Head. We would love to have you. The last thing that people might wonder about is, we've talked about teams and 2-person teams. What if I am one of those people who can't get anyone to join me for this trip, and I'm like the biggest golf loser in the world? I can't find a buddy, or all my buddies are losers and they have work, and
I think it's more
can't join.
It's all the buddies are losers and they're not signing up for it. No, just reach out to us. We can talk to you, and we can see about getting you set up with a partner.
Yeah. Okay. So if you are a single and you're willing to come down and play, we would love to try to make that work. All we need is 2 of those people to reach out to us, and that's a team, right? Or so that can work out. Let's talk about golf in Massachusetts a little bit, because I do like to ask my guests when I remember to prep them. I do a 5 rounds in Massachusetts. I prepped you on this, so people take this all different ways. I try to make it not too morbid. Imagine you're just moving out of Massachusetts. These are not your 5 final rounds of your life, but you got 5 left in Massachusetts to play, and they're rounds, not courses. So you could play a place 5 times if you loved it so much and that's the only place you want to play, or you could play 5 different rounds at 5 different courses. So before we press record, you were like, do I have to play? Do I have to play the course? I said, no, this is the beauty of it. You can come up with whatever rules you want. Some people have created public only, or courses I've played, or these are all bucket list places that I would love to see before I had to leave the state as a fugitive from the law. So what are your 5 rounds in Massachusetts? And then we can talk about bucket list stuff too, if you want to leave that until for the other side of this conversation.
Yeah, we can do that. So you gave me this, and I did stress about it a bit. I was like, oh.
5 isn't a lot.
Then I was like,
golf courses out.
Then I was like, wow, this is my only chance to ever go play Eastward Ho or the Country Club. Maybe I have to take advantage of that. But no, I think I ended up settling on more of the nostalgia route.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the courses like I grew up playing and learned sort of how to play golf on.
Yeah.
So number 1 is Trell Brook in Tewksbury.
Yes.
Which, if anyone's played it, it's a bit of a quirky layout.
It is.
That first hole, it's like a weird 8-iron over the trees, par 4,
8-iron, 6-iron.
hard dogleg left. But I grew up on North Shore, and I probably played that course like, I don't know, 120 times or something.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
It's one of those ones that I think a lot of us, you probably all have a course that you could like close your eyes and play every hole.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Another is the Dennis Highlands down the Cape.
Okay.
So that was another one where like we were lucky enough. My grandma bought a house down there in the 80s, and it's been in my family since. So we'd spend summers there, and they had a phenomenal deal back in the day. It was like $100 for a junior membership in the summer. So I'd go. My parents would just drop me off, and I'd go play there a bunch. And,
yeah, it was your babysitter. It's $100 babysitter for the summer.
And
yeah.
The beauty of that course is like it's hard to lose a ball.
Yep.
So you go there a couple balls, and it's a fun course. There's some cool layouts. I played the Pines a bunch, but not as much as the Highlands. But the Pines is a little bit more challenging. But there's some really cool holes there on the back nine, especially that wrap around the pond, 10 and 11. And then I got to go with, I was bringing this one up to you earlier, Kettlebrook, because that was the course I played the day before my wedding.
Yep.
Because my wife's from Central Mass, so we were out there, and I played that course, and I've gotten to play it a couple more times, and I really like that layout. 2 more.
Yeah.
In Plymouth.
Okay.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I remember.
Is that your favorite Plymouth? I
think that's my favorite Plymouth.
That's where I send people.
It's just a really fun layout. Remember when they were gonna rip that down and build that movie studio?
Yeah, it's gonna be like Hollywood East.
I was like devastated.
Yeah.
And then I think they defaulted on the loan or something. It was like $55 million.
Because that was like around 2008, right? That was when everything kind of tanked.
When Mass made all the moves to attract movies to be made out here, and they were going to rip that down and make it a big studio. So thankfully that didn't happen. I try to get down there at least once a year, so I love that course. And then, all right, I'll go one private that I have the benefit of playing was Worcester. So shout out Mr. Brandon Parker. He's had me out there a couple of times.
Yeah.
I saw him on...
He's playing there right now.
I saw him on
Instagram
on the Mask Golf the other day, sinking a little sidewinder to win some points in some match. So shout out to him. He's had me out there a couple of times. We used to work together back in the day, and I just think that's such a fun course.
It's so good. I was a member there for like 8 years, freshman year in college up through, and then they had an awesome junior rate that I just stuck around after I outgrew the family membership. It was so cheap.
I know that's what he started when he was a kid too.
It was so cheap. And then I just had to make a decision about do I want to go to grad school or do I want to keep this my membership?
Yeah.
And I wish I could have done both. I had to go to grad school. I have not played there in like over a decade now. And I see pictures of the new stuff, and it looks awesome. So that's Worcester's a good one. Your dog is
dogs.
Yeah, someone's at the door.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Trollbrook and maybe just talk about each one of these places, because Trollbrook I played a few years ago. I've only played it once. The back nine at Trollbrook is sneaky good, especially the holes like on this far side of the road, I guess, right? Like 10 through 15.
Yep.
That little par 3 is that last one, and you cross back over. It has a bunch of like elbow hard dogleg turns throughout the round, which kind of drive me crazy.
Yeah, but people are like, the first time I played, what's
going on?
That throws on.
Yeah. I imagine it does. I mean, the second hole, the third hole are good, but that like little stretch of 10 through 15 is really, really good.
That 10th hole is really fun because you're on that elevated tee box down, and then it like big valley up into the green. And like if you can poke a driver, you can get it pretty close.
Yeah, a little pitch shot on.
And then that par 3
down
follow to down. One of my friends had a hole in one on that one.
Nice.
Broke the cup.
Oh, just slammed it.
And it was because you were so high up.
Oh, yeah. It's like a 9-iron probably, right?
So much force going down and right through the cup. that's a fun hole. Tricky green because it slopes pretty good back to front. And then if you can hit a draw that 11th or 12th hole,
Yeah.
you can easily get there.
Yeah. It's a kind of
so that's a really fun stretch of holes.
Yes. Yeah. Really, really good. And then what was your second one you had?
Dennis Highlands.
Dennis Highlands. So Highlands over Pines. I have not played either.
Most people probably argue that Pines is a better course.
Yeah.
I just, from the nostalgia standpoint, like I like Highlands. It's just fun. You know, a couple good just bombs away holes, and there's some pretty good par threes.
Yeah. And then Kettlebrook. Kettlebrook reminds me of Silva has this, because he designed Kettlebrook, Brian Silva. He's got this knack for, he has 12 holes in one place, and then you just go somewhere else and play the last 6. Like Butterbrook is like that. Kettlebrook is like
Butterbrook would be 6th on my list.
You really?
I was debating Butterbrook and Worcester.
Yeah. Yeah, Worcester every day of the week. Yeah, Kettlebrook, and then Acushnet River Valley, which we were talking about before we hit record because you did a little trip down there with Mike. Is another one where you play 11 or 12 holes and then you're just out in this completely different open area. So I like when golf courses do that and you feel like you're kind of shocked into being in a different place. What was your fourth? My memory.
Waverly.
Oh, and then Waverly. So and then Waverly is like the Plymouth thing is always interesting to just pick people's brains about.
No, Plymouth is fascinating. I actually I wrote a blog on just Plymouth as like a golf destination.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it and I'm like, there are 3, well technically 4 because there's 2 at Pine Hills. There's 4 really, well, and you get the extra 9 at Crosswinds. So they're all located right there.
Yep.
Like Plymouth is a fun town. Like you can stay there for a weekend and you can get some really good golfing.
Yep.
Especially in like the fall when the weather's just like crisp and the scenery's awesome.
And Cape adjacent, so like you
Cape adjacent,
take a morning and go to the Cape or go to the Cape for the afternoon.
and then you even got that like Souther's Marsh.
Yeah,
play golf in
very cool.
Cranberry Bog.
Yeah,
it's just like a really cool location. So
and Atlantic. Have you played Atlantic?
I haven't played Atlantic.
So Atlantic is another. I mean, no one it's the last one on everyone's list as they're going through the Plymouth Rolodex, but if it wasn't in Plymouth, it would be kind of one of those places I think people would not talk about, but it would be a place where people are like, oh, Atlantic is a good spot. It's like on the other side of Plymouth.
All right.
It made me realize how big Plymouth was.
Like towards the ocean or other side?
Other side.
Okay.
It's like away from the water.
So
you're kind of up in the hills a little bit. But I remember getting off of the highway, and like usually you get off the highway and you're at Pine Hills, or you're at Waverly or Crosswinds in no time. This was like weaving through Plymouth and kind of climbing up some hills. But Atlantic is another good one. So that's like more than 100 holes of golf in.
Right there, all within.
And then you throw in Plymouth Country Club and Old Sandwich, and like there's so many holes of golf in Plymouth. It's insane. And I think Waverly is the place I tend to send people when they tell me like I'm down in this area. Crosswinds is, if I tell people if you want to pay a little bit more, go to Waverly. If you're looking for just value, it's Crosswinds is the call.
And that's fair.
It's just you don't pay $100 to play Crosswinds. I don't think ever.
And it's probably shooting up there now, but
I know they're starting to go up. I was told that prices have gone up like 15% on average since COVID is kind of like the rate of change since golf became popular again.
Yeah, there's been a lot of courses that I feel like used to be like $75, and now they're like bumping up to $100, and you're like, that's $100.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you like to ride, then you're paying $120. And I try not to ride, but sometimes they make you, and they don't charge you for it. They add it on, so that's a tough one too. Bucket lists, because you did say you wanted to add some.
In mass.
Yeah, in mass. Maybe we can go world as well. You've been to Ireland and you've been to Scotland, so maybe there's some spots out there too. But let's stick in mass for.
All right, in mass. Some of the I'd love to get out to Eastward Ho.
Yeah,
I mean, country club, obviously.
Yeah. So you didn't go to the U.S. Open.
I didn't. I was joking to you. I was like probably one of the only like golf guys in mass that like didn't, and like everyone to see as like
the
Open, like the quarter zip and the polo, and I'm like, oh, I don't have one of those.
So have you never been? Did you go to the Ryder Cup in '99 when it was here?
No. See, I used to go to the Deutsche Bank every now and then, but that's about it.
Yeah. Okay. So you've never even like, because I mean, obviously,
I've never stepped foot.
Never stepped foot.
I've driven by the the like brown fence.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
just so nondescript.
Yep.
Off the road, and you're like, oh, that's the country.
There it is, right there. Yep. You can't see through that fence,
No.
though. No. Okay, those if you wanna bring Sean out to play any of those,
Yeah.
connection, you know where to find him. You said you went to Scotland and you went to Ireland. That's the last thing I want to touch on because we're talking about golf trips and
So that was a trip that was 4 years in the making, because we had it booked in 2019.
nice. And then something happened. What happened in 2020?
I think there was a world event or something that was just crushed travel.
Yeah.
So we ended up, I think we ended up going in 2022 or something like that. But I mean, obviously, well worth it.
Did you go to Ireland and Scotland on the same trip?
We did.
That is ambitious.
It was ambitious. I think in retrospect, I would break it into two.
Yeah.
Or
for
spend
sure.
more time, because we did it. I think we did it in 9 or 10 days. And when we were in Ireland, we were like, oh, I don't want to leave Ireland.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing. We want to play more courses in Ireland, because we got to play Lahinch, which was I think that might be one of my all-time. I might have to put that at the top of my list.
Yeah.
We got the full experience. Like a woman I used to work with, she's from that town.
Yeah.
Her parents are members there,
Cool.
and her dad caddies there. So me and Mike went over and played with her parents.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he gave us the full experience, like walked us around the course, told us all the history, like told us where all the blind shots were. There's one hole where there's a giant mound.
Yeah,
like-
that par 3.
Yeah. He's just like, you got to hit it a little bit to the right of the mound. And like, there's a guy standing up there telling you whether or not you can hit. And he's like, see the guy? Just go a little right of the guy. And I was like, I don't think I have that much control. And I actually went right of the guy, and it was like right up on the green, and like an eagle. I was like, that was awesome. So that course was phenomenal. We played Ballybunion. We played Old Head. Just like unbelievable scenery.
Yeah.
And then we hopped over to Scotland. So we stayed in St. Andrews, which is just such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Like our hotel.
And you were there in 22?
I think it was
So
22.
was it before the Open was there?
It was right after the Open.
Okay.
So the grandstands were still up.
Cool.
But it was super cool because like people are in that town for like 3 reasons. There's a college there, some people live there, and then it's golf.
Yep.
And it's just like this really cool mix, and everyone's just so happy to be there,
Yeah.
even when the weather isn't super amazing. But you walk around. St. Andrews is closed on Sundays, which we found out.
Yeah.
It's just a public park.
Yeah.
So we got there on a Sunday, and Mike and I just went and like walked the course. And there's people with their dogs running around. There's people having picnics like on the green.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is wild.
Yeah.
So we got that experience, and then we got to play, and you just like, you walk from your hotel with your bag through the town
And it's normal.
down to the first tee.
Yeah.
And then, such an experience just standing on that first tee and like hopefully not putting it in the berm, which I think Mike did, but I didn't. Mike also hit the hotel on 17, which is hilarious.
Nice. The ultimate double.
The ultimate double. Yeah, so that was a great trip. We hit Carnoustie too, but I would split it into 2.
Yeah.
I had to do it again
Yeah,
because there's
for
so many other cool, like King's Barnes in Scotland's another one, Waterville in Ireland.
Yep.
Like the whole bunch.
Yeah,
of
the
those.
southwest of Ireland is pretty awesome. Ely, the only place I've played in Scotland is Ely, which is like maybe 30 minutes from St. Andrews. We were in Edinburgh, and I had one day to play golf, and I had heard good things about it. It was incredible. 16 par 4s and 2 par 3s.
Huh.
And like, there's not one moment where you're like, where's the par 5?
Yeah, you're like, this is
It's so good. And then I also love out there, like my wife was with me, and they just let her walk. It's a private golf course, Ely. You can get on just public. They have a couple public tee times a day. I was like, can my wife walk with me? She's got no clubs. They're like, yeah, that's fine. So she just walks the golf course with me until she got bored, and then went inside. And yeah, it was awesome. It's golf over there is great. Golf trip guys, at some point, that's the ultimate, right? Let's go international.
Yeah, I think we'll get there at some point.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
Right now there's a lot of companies that book over there, so we're looking at sort of how we can play and what's our space here. We're actually going out to St. George in June. We're going to scout that out. So I don't anyone that watched the St. George or the Black Desert this last weekend with the PGA, like it's just some incredible scenic.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So we're going to go out there, scout that, so that we have all that information to book that trip for customers.
Cool.
Clients.
Awesome. Well, Sean, thanks. And if you are interested in this trip, if you want to go to Hilton Head, we'll put the links in all the show notes. But Golf Trip Guys is golftrip.com. golftrip-guys.com, and then they're on Instagram and everywhere else as well. But if you want to sign up, golftrip-guys.com. And thanks, and we will hopefully see a bunch of you listeners in Hilton Head.
Yeah, can't wait to meet some new people, have some fun, get some competitive rounds going.
Yep.
And yeah,
Shake off the rust.
enjoy the sun in April and something to look forward to over the winter.
Absolutely.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.